Hi everyone, welcome back to another session with me. And this is the fragment special series. And the last session we drew these two tiles, right? We explored some more of the fragments that we learned in our previous sessions. So let us explore a little more of one of the fragments that we used in this tile. And today we will be exploring more of this fragment. This is fragment D22. This is the reference number of that fragment as per the primer volume 1, right? So let's get started. Let's explore a little more of the fragment. So I'm going to deviate a little here from the usual things that we do with a fragment and use the fragment itself as a string and then probably embellish it and work more on it and extend the fragment a little more. Let's see how does it work out. So this is an experiment. I have not done it before. I'm doing it first time on the video, so let's see how does it work out, right? But as far as Zentangle is concerned, I'm pretty sure that everything looks good in Zentangle. So I'm drawing here some concentric circles and then I'm going to pick that fragment and see how does it work out if I use that fragment inside each of these circles. Yeah. So once we have done that groundwork, right, let us get started with the smallest. So I'm going to start with the fragment D22, which goes like this, eek arranged in a circle. Yeah. Now it is up to you. You can very comfortably fill in these small little V spaces and give it a shape, right? Or you can leave it the way it is, entirely up to you, right? So I have given it a little bit of shape and then I'm going to move on to the next, but I'm going to space it out a little so that I have some scope to work in between. Yeah. What you can also do is bring this curl till here, right, till the end. So let's see whether we work with one curl, whether we also create one more curl, right? So this is the fragment again. Now I'm again going to fill in these small little spaces because they, I think, add to the look of this fragment. Looks more complete. Yeah. So take your time and slowly go back to these small spaces and ink it. Yeah. So done with that. Again I'm going to do the same exercise. Again I'm going to space it out. But I'm not thinking much about the placement of the loops, right? Just ensuring that there is enough space between the loops so that if I want to play around with the space, I can do that, right? So just rotate your tile. Don't move your hand much from where it is. Preferably hold the tile above and just put one of your fingers inside or probably two. Right, so we have added the third layer. Again I'm going to go back and fill in the small little spaces. So the strokes are very much like cursive E and it is also a tangle called eek. However, in eek we draw these loops from both sides. So I would have a consecutive loop coming from the other side also, right? So that's the tangle eek. However, in the fragment we generally use one side to form a flower. So fragments are basically somewhere or the other derived from the tangles only. Sometimes the same tangles as it is being used or sometimes improvised versions, tangleations, but they very much have the characteristics of the tangles, the originals, right? The third one, and then we have one more layer, so let's do that once again, right? take your time and slowly draw these loops, almost evenly spaced. It's okay, you don't need to measure it, even if they are not exactly equidistant. That's perfectly fine. Go with the flow, don't break the flow. Keep rotating your tile. My hand is almost in the same place. And the last one. Yeah. So we are done with that. Again, going back and adding some ink there. Right. So enjoy the process of inking. Don't haste up. See the character that it adds to your tangle. See how it uplifts your tangle. Right? Slowly do that. And the last one. Right? So we have used the same fragment. Now it is up to us, how do we want to go ahead, right? So let's think about something, how do we want to do, right? So you can always place a fragment here also, right? Let's see what do we want to place here. So what I'm going to do is take this curve and then just bring it down like this. Yeah, let's see how does it look like. So I'm also experimenting here. Just retracing a part of this curved line and bringing it down so that it looks nice and extension of those lines, right? So this changes character, and then I'm going to add something like we do for Huggins, a small little embellishment there. Yeah. So I'm just doing what is coming to my mind at this point of time. Just taking cue from the fragment, started with the fragment, and then I'm just extending it the way I wish to, because the fragment gives me that scope, that opportunity. Yeah. So just let your imagination run wild. If you feel like doing something else, please go ahead with that. Share it with me. I have a Facebook group by the name Creative Zen Work at SanyuktasZentangle, which is also always displayed at the end of my video. You can always post what you create following my videos on that page, right? So this is one part. Now let us see this part also. If we do the same way, right? take your time and do that exercise. Throughout. Right? So we are done with that. The leftover spaces we can do whatever we wish to. Let us first add a little more to these. So I will do this in the innermost section also, the same way. Yeah. So once I have done that, I'm just going to now add some lines in this section, the outermost section. Right? So go slow, take your time and slowly add these lines to the sections that you created. So I've done that exercise for all the sections. Now I'm going to do a small thing. I'm going to add these curved lines emanating from this pearl shape, or the droplet shape, all around. And I'm also going to add a little weight at the ends. This is fun, right? I'm just going by whatever is coming to my mind at that point. No planning here. You should never plan a Zentangle tile, right? And I have also said that before, because although I have certain things in my mind when I start a video, but I always see that it turns out something else because once you start drawing, you tend to add more things, what looks nice, what looks better, right? So never turns out the way you supposedly planned it, because you cannot plan art. So the broad outline remains a broad outline, the actual thing always differs. Yeah. So I'm going to go on like this. Let's see what happens. Adding a little weight at the end of the line. So take your time and slowly do that exercise throughout for all. Yeah. So I'm going to continue like this. I think by now you've got an idea. Yeah. So I'm now on the last one, continuing with the same exercise, adding these lines and adding a little weight at the end of the lines. Lines emanating from the center droplet. Yeah. So we have done the last one, right? One more thing I did was add these same small lines in this section also as I did here, right? I did the same thing here also. Now let's see what do we want to do with the next. So this pearl, I'm going to ink it. Right? At times inking looks nice. The next thing is this section, right? So let's see what do we want to do here. I'm going to start with a small moon and add some auras, and then we'll see if we want to add something else also. Let's first add moon and 2 auras. Yes, I'm adding the auras in such a way that they touch my pearl. Again a moon and 2 auras. Again a moon and 2 auras. Right, so we have done that exercise. Now if you wish, you can add something around the moon. For example, small little squares or drops or something, dots, orbs, anything, right, around that droplet that we have drawn. So I'm just drawing some small squares, little squares. You can also add dots, whatever you feel like. Remember, we drew these squares in one of the fragments which looked something like hollis. Just take your time and right. So done with that. I don't think we need to do anything else here. This much looks sufficient. Now we have these 4 triangles or corners left, so I'm just going to aura it. 1, 2, 3, and the last one. And then I'm going to do a little bit of coffering there. Which means I'm adding 3 dots at 3 corners and then joining those dots with each other and with the corners. Right? Something like the coffered ceilings that we see. Right? Now you can either straight away add something inside, or you can aura, or whatever you feel like, right? So let's go with a simple fragment there. Keeping it simple. Adding one more aura. Adding curved lines on all 3 sides. Adding an orb and filling in the rest. Right, you can choose any other triangular fragment of your choice. Right, So we are done with that. Let us now move straight to shading. So you can actually see the fragment is lost somewhere, right? So let's get started and add graphite, re-emphasizing these concentric circles. So this is a fun tile wherein I started with the fragment, and then you can see where we have landed, right? So one more way how you can work on fragments. So just play around with them. They have tremendous potential, right? So this series is just to give you some idea, picture about what fragments are all about. We will also do one more project where we will explore fragment in different kind of grids, which we haven't really explored till now. We have mostly worked on square or triangular or circular grids, spiral grids, yeah. So we'll explore a little more of grids also and see how the fragments behave when put in different grids. So let's blend. Again, when you blend, make sure you don't turn the entire thing gray. Make sure your center is white. No need to exactly apply on the blacks. The graphite anyways is going to reflect, so you can skip applying on the blacks, the inked sections. You can also use your gray watercolor pencil to re-emphasize the graphite. Right? And the last one. Right? As far as the coffering is concerned, just add some graphite on these lines and you're sorted. Right? Blend it. Don't blend too much. Keep a white section. Right? So last step is to use your chalk. Make sure you blend the graphite well and make sure you leave the center white. That's important. Yeah. So now just pick up your chalk pencil. Yeah. And add a highlight in the white section like this. Yeah. Looks like a shine or a shimmer. last one here. Yeah, I think we are done, right? So that's how this fragment finally looks like. So somewhere lost, yeah, in what we have done. So put in your chalk, sign and date it. Right? So hope you are enjoying this fragment special, and I shall see you again with another tile, exploring few more fragments before we go to our final project, right? Thank you. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.